right, I'm back in Godot. One thing I want to mention is that our version of Godot is automatically going to recognize Blender. And as long as we're using a late enough version of Blender and a late enough version of Godot, it should automatically import our files as soon as they're recognized by the project. And anytime I go to these files and make changes in Blender and come back to Godot, they're going to just re-import. Something that can be handy to do is to just double check the import settings. So if you double click on one of the files, you can see all of the settings here. Now I made sure to delete the extra things in my scene, my light, my camera that I don't want. If you happened to have any of those available, you could just click on the object and then check skip import over here on the side. Now, that's not something that I need to worry about, but you'll see there's also a lot of data that you can adjust before it's actually imported and used. We can do some things specifically for the mesh object and then also for the material. Something else I like to do sometimes is just extract the material so that I can edit it directly in Godot. So I actually did a little bit of extracting earlier and I made an additional folder, which I actually can do right from here with a little new folder icon. But I can go into the material folder. I've actually extracted this particular one already, so I don't need to do anything. But that way I'm going to be able to actually edit the material later on. So when I double click on my goal, now it's available over here. I can adjust the different settings so that I can customize it in the game itself. And that's something that happens to be really handy. And so let's see, I've done the goal, I've done the ground. Let's say I'm going to do the portal. So I can double click to go to the import window. There's nothing that I actually need to change in the settings over here. But if I want to go to actions, I can extract, go to the materials folder, select that folder and extract that material, and then I can re-import. And that is definitely something that I recommend doing for any materials you might want to change. And this is one of those things where having descriptive names is going to make your life a lot easier. So like I can come over to my portal material. Maybe I want it to have a little bit more of a glow, but maybe I want a color that's less muddy. Just going to click out of there. A little bit more on the blue side now. And I can keep adjusting all of the various settings for the material however I want to. Maybe I want it a little bit more metallic looking. Maybe I want to have some transparency enabled. Whatever makes sense. All right, and like anything, you should always save changes when you do them. All right, and that is it for this video.